Hello, I'm Dr. Shoshana Garfield, and today I want to share with you something really secret. Most people live within the matrix of something that is invisible to them, but I want to help you discover how to make that visible. You see, our thoughts are like that matrix, and we don't see them. We walk around with them, and we don't realize it's like a screen. But because it's made out of very clear glass, as a metaphor, we don't notice it's there, but actually we're really banging our heads into it constantly. And there's a quote here from a fellow called R.D. Laing, who was a famous psychotherapist, I think in the 40s, and he worked with people who were considered irredeemable. And he says, "The range of what we think and do is limited by what we fail to notice. And because we fail to notice that we fail to notice, there is little we can do to change until we notice how failing to notice shapes our thoughts and deeds." And the way it works is that, let's say I'm driving my daughter to school and I want to get her there on time. It just seems a natural thing to do, isn't it? But there are values in there. There are values that school's important, that being on time's important, that therefore getting her up on time is important, and it implies getting her to bed on time the night before. All these things are implied. I want to get to my daughter to school on time. There may not be much questionable in there, but the thing is that my daughter's well-being is not dependent on whether she gets there 2 minutes before or 2 minutes after the bell. Another example would be people who go out for a cigarette break, and they might have the thought, "Oh, I can't wait to get out there and have a cigarette break. Oh, it's going to feel great." And there are a number of assumptions embedded in there. One, that a cigarette can make them feel better. Secondly, that their well-being is dependent on having the cigarette break, that they will feel worse even if they don't have the cigarette break. All that is made invisible because of that matrix effect of thought. Thoughts are really what beliefs are, except we don't give them credit for being thoughts. We call them beliefs, and what we mean by beliefs often is just stuff we think is true. I mean, like, really true. So, for instance, if someone's Christian, they believe in Jesus. That's a belief. If someone's Jewish, they believe in Hashem. That's their belief. If someone is a pagan, they believe in all the various sorts of gods. That's their belief. And that is really true. And these so-called truths line our everyday in subtle and not so subtle ways. And we take them in from people. We're taught, we're raised with it often, or we come to it and we just take it in as these truths. But they're just thoughts. They're just thoughts that kind of solidified, turned into stone inside of us. And there's another quote from Mark Twain I'd like to share about you, because until you fail to notice what you fail to notice, you're not going to notice this either. In religion and politics, most people's beliefs and convictions are in almost every case gotten at second hand without examination from authorities who have themselves not examined the questions at issue, but have taken them second hand from other non-examiners whose opinions about them were not worth a brass farthing. It's Mark Twain. Now, I'm not saying that any religious belief is not worth a brass farthing at all. That's not it. It's the not questioning. And you need to ask yourself, how do you know what you know? Is it because somebody said? Where's your proof? And it's not the kind of firm proof to look for that non-believers in God may ask for instance, because their belief is that God doesn't exist and they have that belief that they don't question, okay? It's about being open, being humble enough and courageous enough to question. How do you know what you know? And are you willing to notice what you failed to notice until now? Are you willing to go down that rabbit hole? Because something is waiting for you. And it's a deeper truth that's in all the religions. It's a deeper truth that's in all the major spiritual advisements we get from the New Age scene. And what most major religions and spirituality movements offer or advertise is freedom. And you've got to make the decision. What kind of freedom do you want? Do you want that freedom to ask yourself, how do you know what you know? What am I failing to notice? Or do you want the freedom to submit to someone else's ideas of what's true? The choice is entirely yours. So here's wishing you the courage to choose freedom to decide for yourself after examination not necessarily examination with your intellect, although certainly that as well, but examination from a place of deep calm inside. You can feel what resonates as true, not what resonates as comfortable, not what resonates as familiar, not what resonates as enticing on what may be good marketing grounds, but what really beds down in you. I wish that for you. Very best wishes, and bye for now.